Here's how I manifested becoming pregnant with Pinterest. Okay, some of these tips are a little bit woo-woo, I'll admit, but I will also give you guys tangible things that I did also to help get pregnant. I've not ever had any fertility issues, so I of course understand that there are other things that play roles in this, that you can't just use wishful thinking, but I think a positive mindset is very, very helpful. Because it's definitely going to make you like feel better versus just like having a negative mindset. So I thought I was going to be a one and done mom. And Carter really has always wanted a second kid. He did not pressure me into having a second kid by any means. It is a lot to have, grow a human and be pregnant and go through labor and delivery. So in no way did he pressure me, but I realized that I did want a second kid, and that like being pregnant and labor and delivery and like the newborn phase was gonna be like the hardest. But once we got through all of that, like, not that I didn't like love my daughter's newborn phase, but when they can be independent and like walk around and communicate, even if they're not talking yet, it is a lot easier in my opinion. But I just was like, you know what, when we're like, as the girls are growing up, because I'm pregnant with another girl, I was like, we're gonna have like so much more fun, like family vacations and holidays and stuff. Like, it would be boring just the three of us. So adding a fourth family member was just something that I realized I really did want. So I'd made the decision last summer and told Carter, because I didn't want to tell him and get his hopes up until I was like really sure I wanted a second kid. But I was actually at the YMCA on the treadmill doing 12-3-30, and I saw this Prada bag. And I have a pink Chanel purse / diaper bag. That's what I got with my first daughter. And I was like, I saw this bag and I was like, I'm gonna be a mom again. I was like, I'm gonna do this all over again. I'm gonna get another diaper bag. At that point, it's a blue Prada bag, and I really thought we were gonna have a boy, but it is 100% a girl. Which there's no reasoning that I can't have a blue bag with another daughter, but that bag made me like realize that I got to pick a new diaper bag and like do all these new details. And so then I went down like the rabbit hole of Pinterest and Instagram, and really just like wanted to romanticize pregnancy and the bump. And even though I don't feel cute when I'm pregnant, feeling cute, like to try to prioritize it. So I'm going to share like my Pinterest board for like the bump and my Instagram bump saved folder or whatever, just for like inspiration and inspo. And I think Hailey Bieber had just like announced her pregnancy, and I was like, oh, these are cute maternity pics. I was like, I could do it again. Okay, so not only like looking around visually at like all these aesthetic pictures, because pregnancy is not always aesthetic, I'm gonna be honest, especially that first freaking trimester. I had made the decision last summer, like I said, that I did in fact want to have a second kid. And that wasn't like, excuse me, that wasn't like, okay, I want to have a second kid, let's go. This is how we were with the first one. Because my husband is very logical and like planned out. And I mean, so am I to some extent. I'm definitely more spontaneous of the two of us. But I was like, one condition of me having another kid, I want to go to Paris for my first time before I have a kid. And so me and one of my very dear friends, we went to Paris in, I think it was early October of last year. So, we had that plan. We were like, okay, October, November, we'll get pregnant. So I had a timeline. So even having that specific timeline, which is exactly what we did with the first, I wrote it in the calendar, which of course, if you're planning it that far ahead, you don't really know when you're ovulating necessarily, if you like get like a couple days off during your cycle here and there. But I wrote it in my calendar that October 1 of 2022, I was going to get nutted in and get pregnant. That's literally what I wrote. I wrote it in my calendar. And actually when the time came and my friend gave me an ovulation strip, I actually was ovulating and did conceive on October 1st of 2022. So that was just such a testament to planning and manifesting and everything. And so this time around, we were like, of course, we're going to do the same thing. And so we were like, as soon as I get back from Paris, we'll try and succeed. I didn't really use try a lot because I'm very like, believe words are affirmations. So in between that time of me deciding that we were going to have a second, to planning a Paris trip, to going to like actually getting pregnant, I had my 1 year postpartum checkup with my midwives, my care providers, and, told them the good news that actually I'm going to be back. And they said that if I wanted to have a VBAC, which I very much do, that I should wait until I'm at least 18 months postpartum to conceive so that my scar tissue has had enough time to like heal properly, so that I have less of a chance of uterine rupture. So we were like, well, okay, then we have an exact date. And we were able to like, look at my cycle and like know around the time that I would be ovulating. So even though I wanted to go ahead and get pregnant like earlier than end of December, early January, we were like, okay, this is the best thing for my body. But it was around November and I was like, what's 4 weeks gonna do? Let's get me pregnant right now. So my sister had given me a bunch of ovulation strips. I was tracking when my ovulation should be. And what I didn't know at that time was that the ovulation strips can pick up like a few days before and a few days after you are actually ovulating, because it's like a hormone that it like picks up on or something. And so I just thought that because you only ovulate for like 12 to 24 hours, that was like the day. And so I didn't test it after that. And because it's really hard to get pregnant when you have a toddler around. So you either have to like do it during nap or after they're asleep, which she goes to sleep at the same time as we do. And like it's late at night, we're already tired, and like having to do something isn't like as much fun as it normally is. But like, or if like she was like at her grandparents or something, like we would like try to be sneaky about it. I've heard like Kourtney Kardashian and like Lauren Bostic say like it's kind of fun, like romanticize it, you get to like sneak around, but like she's a toddler, not a kid. Like we could like sneak off, and she's too old, like we can't do that in front of her. But like we can't sneak off, she's a toddler, she needs supervision. So anyways, we would either do it when she was napping or right before bed, which was like exhausting, and it did like start to feel like a chore. But well, I digress. The first in like at the end of November is whenever we were doing that, and we just didn't consistently do it for like 5 to 7 days because I was like, oh, I ovulated, I've been fertilized, we're done. And that was like, I mean, the first time I just got pregnant. And so I was like, surely I'm pregnant. And I wasn't. And I was like annoyed and disappointed because I didn't want to have a baby much later than the end of September to begin with. So I was like, if we do not get pregnant like right away, I don't want to do this actually, because I don't want to wait I didn't want to have a baby in the winter. I think that would be really bad for my postpartum. And I was like, and I don't want, and I was like, I don't want to have to like wait anymore, because I don't want them to be their ages to be too far apart. They're going to be 2 years apart and like 2 months or something. And I was like, I really don't want them to be like too many years apart. I want to be able to be skinny and like work on my fitness and like not have to worry about being pregnant or like not bothering to lose the weight and then get pregnant in a few months. and then do it all over again, if that makes sense. So the next month, whenever we realized we weren't pregnant, it was the end of December 2024, and I was like, okay, once I realized that you can test a few days before and a few days after you actually ovulate, I tested my pee every day, and the moment I saw a faded line, we were having, are we allowed to say sex? I was getting fertilized, so we would do it like every single day, and then that's whenever it like did, like I was like, no, like we have to get pregnant right now, like this is happening every single day. And so I would like test, and until that stick didn't show even a faded line, I was like, okay, we'll call it quits for like we'll take a break. And then I did get pregnant. I found out I had taken a pregnancy test. I took the wrong pregnancy test. It was not an early detection. It was meant to be taken like, it was one of the digital ones that says yes or no, and you're supposed to take it the day of your missed period, not like 6 days before your missed period, which is the ones I was used to. And it was in a box with 3 different kinds, and so I just assumed they were all like meant to be early, and it wasn't. So we like got disappointed that it was no again, and I was like, dang, like 2 months in a row, like we've never had any fertility issues and stuff, and we were both like living a really healthy lifestyle, like nothing had changed, if not, like if we were living healthier lives, like we were active, we eat really well, we cook mostly at home, that sort of thing. I'd also have been taking prenatal vitamins 3 or more months before we even tried, because that's recommended. And we were also taking CoQ10. I had him on it too. And if I also knew then what I know now, that like so much of the male, so much of the male affects my pregnancy, like the uterus, obviously genes and stuff, but like if he had treated his body like I have to treat it while I'm pregnant for 9 months, if he had started doing it months before, like eating like really clean, like taking certain vitamins and that sort of thing. But we obviously did something right, because I have like pretty gentle pregnancies, aside from like being exhausted, starving. I'm growing a whole human. Like I'm literally growing bones and stuff inside me, like hello. But so the prenatal vitamins and the CoQ10 for both of us, because studies have shown that that's helpful. So we did all of that, and just overall healthy lifestyles. Neither of us smoke, and we don't drink very often. So all of that, and it turns out that it was just the perfect time for my body to be pregnant, because if we had gotten pregnant at the end of November, I would not have been officially 18 months postpartum. I would have only been 17 months. And so because I was getting impatient, it happened exactly when it was supposed to. And I was able, and hopefully I'll be able to have a VBAC. So if that makes sense. I will say that this pregnancy has already been better in a lot of ways because of my mindset. The first pregnancy, I made sure to complain about every little thing, because I did not want my husband to have the expectation of me having another one. I was like, this is one and done. This is terrible. And I mean, it's a lot. Like even whenever your belly isn't even big yet. And I've not even had like nausea or like throwing up and stuff. I was slightly more nauseous with this second pregnancy, but like never to a point of even thinking about throwing up. So, and that's already passed. I'm out of my first trimester, thank goodness, which is like the most exhausting. I finally, as of like the past couple days, want to eat regular, healthy, nourishing food like salad and salmon. I ate my favorite meal last night, which is like the sweet kale salad with cucumbers, spicy mayo, and candied salmon. That is my absolute favorite meal. For like the last 4 to 6 weeks, I've like not even been able to physically eat salmon. Like I like tried to make it, and I took a bite, and I literally like my body rejected it. So I'm very glad to like have my normal taste for food back, because the first trimester I was like really struggling with like mentally, because I'm like, okay, I need to be like eating healthy foods and nourishing my body and this growing baby. But the first trimester is like such survival mode. Like, I just wanted to eat fast food. Like, I wanted like hangover food basically. I mean, I guess in some weird way that makes sense. So I've been also so much hungrier this pregnancy, like especially the first trimester. Like, I have been so hungry and eating so many more calories than necessary, honestly. But like, it's what's best for me and my body, and I'm trying to give myself grace. And I know that there are women who have it even worse than I do, that can't keep anything down and are eating like boiled potatoes and like saltines and like can't even drink water. So I am really grateful for the situation, but I've already gained weight. I don't know how much. I don't calculate how much I have gained until like right before I have the baby. That's what I did with the first one, because I just didn't even want to think about it. The first pregnancy, I was definitely more sedentary, and even though I knew like it was good to move my body, I just didn't. This pregnancy, because my postpartum experience was so brutal and terrible, that I've definitely made it such a priority to keep up with the health and fitness, even though like, even if I'm eating like McDonald's and Cane's and like fried chicken and like pad thai, like even if I'm eating those, I'm still working out. Like, it was not like this like all or nothing mindset. Like, I'm doing the best I can. So I also did something that's a little bit controversial. I started a new fitness program when I got pregnant, which I really don't know why that is something that they recommend against. Like, it's not like I'm like going out and becoming a triathlete, like I just started I started becoming interested in weightlifting and realizing like the benefits of weightlifting. There are so many benefits of weightlifting, but I'm a beginner. So I was like, I don't even know where to start. Like, I was overwhelmed, and I'm pregnant. So there are things that I do need to be careful of and aware of. So I was listening to the Skinny Confidential podcast. I had been listening to all the pregnancy related podcasts on the Skinny Confidential and other ones, but specifically those because I really liked those whenever I was pregnant the first time. And so they had interviewed Dr. Shannon. I can't even think of her last name right now, but she is a physical therapist who created Evlo Fitness. And so she's also a personal trainer and has come up with this program that she did when she was pregnant, that she created while she was pregnant. So like the weeks she has, so like I'm week 15. She's week 15 in these videos that she's doing. And she is just incredible, a wealth of knowledge, really like step by step, really easy. I got heavier weights for the house so that I could just do this at home. It's 30 to 35 minutes with a warm up and a cool down and weightlifting. She has it scheduled out that you are not working one muscle group back to back. Like, you need at least 48 hours recovery for your muscles to build and everything. And a couple reasons why I decided I wanted to do weightlifting, which I had started right before I got pregnant, because even though I knew we were getting pregnant, but I really thought that I needed to build these muscles because my body is growing. I am gaining weight. I need to be able to support all of this extra weight, and not only for vanity, but postpartum, because it is going to be easier to bounce back if you're moving your body beforehand. But I could not even hold myself up physically. My core was so weak and my back was killing me because I couldn't hold myself up. I couldn't stand for very long. I could hardly take a shower without having to sit on a stool in there because I was in so much pain. So I knew that it was going to be very important to have like core work throughout the pregnancy that is specifically pregnancy related. I got very educated on pelvic floor and proper core form and techniques and stuff. Postpartum, because I was so weak, I went to a pelvic floor physical therapist, and she helped me a lot, and I definitely kept that going, over the last 2 years, like, but not as consistently. I have seriously, when I first started, because first trimester, again, like, you do what you can. I would show up in my house to do these workouts, and I would not always do the whole 5 days. I would be really exhausted the day after I did a workout. So every day I've tried to, walk a mile with a weighted vest and stretch, especially my lower body, because I want to be flexible. And I show up when I can to do these 5 exercises every week. So she has it like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's whenever I try to show up. If I feel like I need a rest day in between, I take it. And so up until the last, literally 3 weeks, I'm 15 weeks along. Literally the last 3 weeks is the first time I've been able to complete all 5 in a week. And some days, like last week, because I was really tired, I took the day off, but then the next day I did 2 in a row. So I did a whole hour's worth because I had the energy for it. So I was like, okay, this makes me feel better that I can do that. And yeah, but like so the last 3 weeks are whenever I've been the most consistent with it. And that's just because like, that's how I'm able to show up for it, and second trimester energy is hitting. We're coming out of the winter. We're in the spring, which helps. The days that it's sunnier, which it's April, so it's freaking pouring outside right now, like, the gray, rainy season. But I've been showing up, and I'm happy for myself, but I'm also doing it in front of my toddler, and she is already like excited to hold like a little weight, and she's doing the breath work with me. Like if I'm squatting and when I stand up and I do like a pursed lip breath exhale, and I'm like, she comes over and she's like going up and down, and she's going, which is so sweet, and like I'm setting this incredible example for her, so that's a really great feeling too. Sorry, I got off topic a little bit there from, the manifesting and Pinterest stuff, but I just wanted to share what I was feeling. So I hope this was inspirational and helpful for you all. And if you have any questions or tips or advice or like comments, thoughts, anything, you can always comment down below or reach out to me on Instagram. But anyways, thanks for watching. Bye, dolls.